Question number one is, what is icons of attention?
For me, the title is a way to kind of focus my own attention, just generally, and because as the way I work as an artist, there's all these ideas that I'm trying to synthesize. So I'm looking for an idea that can kind of contain it all, and a construct that can contain it all. So icons of attention came up as a way to talk about a variety of things that were on my mind. So the first, I think it started out with media, like how we get information, how we communicate to one another, and thinking about how that's changed over time. So I've grown up in a kind of I believe, when I think about it, a time where radio and television were kind of on equal footing for me. So I do remember listening to the radio and having a real deep relationship with the radio personalities and radio shows. And I also remember like having this parallel experience with the television, being like stay up late for my favorite shows that were on live, or kind of talk about the experience of watching TV with peer groups and whatnot. So I really felt like that was where I got information from, and that's an interesting thing. And it was not until later on in my maybe about 15, 16 that cable started to play a role in my experience. And so I kind of compare that to the way that people exist, we exist, I exist now, and there are all these other forms of receiving and projecting media out there. So icons of attention, the idea was to kind of look back to a time where hearing was believing, like look back to a time of radio and kind of do a little bit of like media archaeology and bring that to bear on some of the experiences that we have today. So that was the first manifestation of my thinking about the title. And then as I started to kind of let it spin around in my head, I was like, well, what are some other experiences that are out there that I can think about in terms of like paying attention or drawing in focus. So I began to think about natural phenomena that we experience every day, that perhaps in times where there were before radio and et cetera, like a sunrise would be the focus of attention for a community of people, or a storm or any other event in nature would be the event or the icon of the attention of the community. So
I think you'll have some of that kind of material in the installation, some video, and of course low power radio station that would actively be broadcasting within a couple mile radius of YBCA.
So that's the kind of mashup that's happening. To use like digital technology to create these virtual natural events. So through various softwares, I've been making eclipses and making lightning storms and making sunrises, and then using kind of improvised sound making devices to score them and add this other layer of media to the visual text, and then broadcasting that stuff out with the radio and broadcasting it with projection devices, for me it's like a media mashup. It's like, as I said, like an archaeology. It's like here we are at a time where there's a real, the possibilities for media are so like limitless, and the way I think about it being limitless is that we can push forward, and also you can go backwards and maybe grab some of the things that are considered or may soon be considered obsolete. So
like VHS tapes.
Like VHS tapes, like reel-to-reel players, and these are all things that I like to incorporate into my practice. So in preparing the installation and gathering the materials, I'll go and like look and see, okay, what's the latest thing, but I tend to be drawn to, the obsolete, because of maybe the sound that they have or just the feeling that I'm getting from them. And that's another layer of the attention. It's like, okay, wow, like watching this TV or looking or listening to this radio, the device itself had a particular form, a particular aesthetic that kind of informs the experience.